You're not broke because of a lack of money. You're broke because of a lack of movement. Faith without action is fantasy, and discipline without execution is just a dream waiting to die. The truth is, your financial breakthrough isn't waiting on God. It's waiting on you to activate what He already gave you. Most people pray for abundance, but refuse to prepare for it. Faith opens the door. Discipline builds the foundation, and execution walks you through. If you've been believing for a breakthrough, but still stuck in the same cycle, this message will show you the formula to turn your faith into fruit. Faith plus discipline plus execution equal to financial breakthrough. Faith is the seed of wealth because it is the starting point of all creation. Nothing great ever begins with resources. It begins with a vision. Faith is the ability to see beyond your current condition and into the realm of possibility. It's what allows you to look at lack and still see abundance, to face failure and still believe in victory. Every empire, every innovation, every transformation in history began with someone who believed in something no one else could see. Faith is the unseen architect of success, the invisible force that draws future realities into present existence. Without it, nothing grows. With it, everything becomes possible. Faith isn't about wishing, it's about knowing. It's not saying, I hope this happens. It's declaring it's already done. When you operate in that kind of confidence, your energy changes, your speech changes, your posture changes. You begin to act like the thing you've been believing for is already yours. That's the difference between people who dream and people who manifest. The dreamers wait for proof before they move. The believers move before they see proof, and their movement creates the manifestation. When you truly have faith, you don't need permission to start. You stop asking for validation because you've already been commissioned by your conviction. Faith is what allows you to invest when others are afraid, to start the business when the odds say you can't, to step into rooms where you feel unqualified but know you're called. Faith doesn't eliminate fear. It overrides it. It whispers, move anyway. Because faith isn't just a feeling, it's a decision to trust the invisible more than the visible. The reason most people never experience financial breakthrough is because they believe more in their limitations than in their potential. They've built a vision based on what they can afford instead of what they're called to create. But faith never asks, do I have enough? It asks, who am I becoming? Because faith doesn't start with possession. It starts with perception. You don't wait for resources to see yourself as wealthy. You start thinking, speaking, and acting like someone who's already in abundance. That's the soil where financial transformation takes root. Think about every major invention or movement in history. Before there was an airplane, there was a man named Wright who believed man could fly. Before there was a light bulb, there was a man named Edison who believed darkness wasn't permanent. Before there was Amazon, there was Jeff Bezos packing boxes in a garage, believing in a future of global e-commerce when the world laughed. The faith to see what others can't see is what separates the average from the exceptional. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It's what connects your spiritual conviction to physical manifestation. You may not see the result today, but every act of faith plants a seed in the soil of destiny. When you speak vision over your life, when you sow with expectation, when you move with conviction, heaven responds. The universe rearranges itself to make room for the reality you believe in. That's why your words matter. Every declaration of faith sends a signal to your future saying, get ready, I'm on my way. But here's the key. Faith without works is dead. It's not enough to believe. You must behave like it's already real. Speak abundance, but also structure your life like abundance is coming. Prepare for the blessing you prayed for. Build systems for the increase you expect. Because faith is not passive waiting, it's active preparation. The proof that you believe is in the way you behave. If you say you believe in wealth but live in waste, your actions cancel your confession. Real faith builds before it sees the finish line. Faith also requires focus. You can't feed your vision and your fear at the same time. What you focus on expands. If you constantly talk about what's missing, your mind becomes a magnet for lack. But when you focus on what's possible, your imagination becomes fertile ground for miracles. The wealthy don't let their environment define their expectations. They let their expectation redefine their environment. That's faith in motion. The moment you start seeing yourself as more than your current circumstance, your reality begins to shift. You stop chasing money and start attracting opportunities. You stop begging for open doors and start building keys. Faith doesn't make life easy. It makes it fruitful. Because once you believe at a higher level, you begin to operate at a higher frequency. You stop being reactive and start being creative. Faith is what gives your future form. It's the blueprint your mind hands to your reality. If your faith is small, your future will be limited. But if your faith is massive, unshakable, unbreakable, then even if everything around you looks impossible, you'll still rise. The power to create wealth begins in your ability to see wealth before you touch it, to believe in success before it shows up, to walk like it's yours before it's delivered. So stop waiting for evidence. The evidence is inside you. Speak it. See it and start acting like it's already yours. Because the truth is, faith doesn't wait. It works. And when your faith is alive, your vision becomes unstoppable and your wealth becomes inevitable. Faith gives you the dream, but discipline gives it direction. Faith is what sparks your imagination, but discipline is what brings that imagination into reality. You can't just dream about success and expect it to appear. You must train your mind, body, and habits to align with what you believe. Discipline is the daily decision to keep showing up, even when the excitement fades. It's doing what's right long after the feeling that made you start is gone. Faith gives you the promise, but discipline builds the pathway to reach it. It's the bridge between vision and manifestation, between potential and power. You can't pray for a harvest and ignore the habits that produce it. Many people ask God for abundance while refusing to build the systems that can sustain it. If you don't prepare for the blessing will overwhelm you. God doesn't reward emotion, He rewards execution. You can fast, you can pray, but if you won't discipline your time, your money, your focus, your results will never multiply. Every great destiny demands daily order. Discipline is not punishment, it's preparation. It's the unseen labor that creates visible fruit. It's what turns a good idea into a profitable reality. Discipline is consistency applied to purpose. It's not about perfection, it's about persistence. You don't have to be the smartest, the strongest, or the fastest, but if you can be consistent, you can win. The world doesn't belong to the talented, it belongs to the disciplined. You can outlast talent with consistency. Talent without discipline is wasted potential, but discipline without talent still wins through time. Every time you follow through on what you said you'd do, even when it's inconvenient, you strengthen your character. Every time you keep your word to yourself, your confidence grows. Discipline is self-respect in motion. It's saying no to distraction so you can say yes to destiny. Distraction is the enemy of direction. Every distraction costs you a portion of your destiny. Every time you waste time on things that don't matter, you delay the things that do. Discipline teaches you to focus on what feeds your future, not what entertains your present. It's easy to scroll, to complain, to procrastinate, but discipline says, I have too much purpose to waste my potential. When you get serious about where you're going, you stop entertaining everything that doesn't help you get there. Discipline doesn't always feel good, but it always produces good. Your discipline determines your distance. Two people can start with the same faith, the same dream, the same opportunity, but the one who applies discipline will always outpace the one who just hopes. Discipline stretches your capacity. It takes you beyond what's comfortable into what's possible. When you make discipline a lifestyle, success becomes predictable. You don't wonder if it will happen. You know it will because you're sowing every day. Every hour of focused effort, every early morning, every delayed gratification compounds into progress. You can't rush greatness, but you can schedule it through daily structure. Faith gives you wings, but discipline gives you flight. Faith can make you believe you can fly, but only discipline teaches you how to take off, navigate the turbulence, and land safely. Faith gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. Faith inspires the dream, but discipline builds the dream brick by brick. The problem isn't that people lack faith, it's that they lack follow-through. Discipline is the engine that turns belief into results. Without discipline, faith is just imagination. Without discipline, your dream stays on paper. But with discipline, your actions become evidence of your belief. There will be days when you don't feel like it. Days when the results seem slow, when progress looks invisible, when the temptation to quit whispers louder than your reason to continue. That's when discipline becomes your anchor. It doesn't rely on emotion, it relies on decision. You don't need to feel motivated. You need to stay committed. The secret to momentum is motion. Keep moving even when it's hard, even when it's quiet, even when no one's watching. Discipline is doing what's necessary when it's not convenient. When you master discipline, you master destiny. Everything you want, wealth, health, peace, impact, is hidden inside your habits. Discipline doesn't restrict your freedom, it creates it. The disciplined person can go further, faster, because they're not bound by impulse. They've trained their mind to serve their mission. They've built systems that sustain success. The world honors those who can stay focused long enough to finish. Discipline is the difference between potential energy and kinetic energy, between waiting for it and walking in it. Faith may open the door, but discipline keeps it open. Every day you practice discipline, you're building the structure that can carry the weight of your destiny. The foundation of your future is formed in your daily routines. When you learn to control yourself, you become unstoppable. Discipline doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you are. It transforms your chaos into clarity, your excuses into execution, and your dreams into destiny. Faith shows you what's possible, but discipline makes it real. Execution produces the fruit. It is the bridge between what you believe and what you become. You can pray all day. You can plan for years. You can talk about goals until your throat gets dry, but until you move, nothing moves. Execution is where faith and discipline collide with power. It's the point where you stop imagining success and start manifesting it. Too many people mistake motion for progress. They're busy but not productive. They're thinking, researching, preparing, but never planting. You cannot harvest from seeds you never sow. Execution is the proof of belief. It's the evidence that you trust what you say you believe. Faith gives you the picture. Discipline builds your habits. But execution brings your vision into reality. You can have the most powerful dream, the most brilliant idea, but if you don't take action, it dies in your imagination. The graveyard is full of unexecuted dreams, books never written, businesses never started, talents never used, because people waited for perfect conditions that never came. Execution doesn't wait for clarity. It creates it. You don't need to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. The power of God meets you in motion. The marketplace rewards doers, not dreamers. You're not paid for what you intend to do. You're paid for what you deliver. Intention is invisible. Execution is undeniable. If you want to change your financial situation, stop just thinking about it and start building something that produces. Every great result you admire is simply someone's execution in motion. Apple didn't start as a trillion-dollar company. It started in a garage with execution. Amazon wasn't born a global empire. It started with a man willing to execute one sale at a time. Execution turns your belief into evidence and your effort into results. Stop waiting for the perfect time. There will never be a perfect time. There will always be uncertainty, fear, risk, and discomfort. But here's the truth. Execution removes fear faster than prayer alone. Because once you start moving, your confidence grows. You start seeing results, learning lessons, and building momentum. The reason most people never execute is because they're addicted to planning. Planning feels safe. Execution feels scary. But comfort is the enemy of progress. You can't execute while protecting your comfort zone. You must be willing to look foolish, to fail publicly, to start small. When you execute, you activate divine assistance. God doesn't bless idleness. He blesses effort. The moment you move, resources begin to appear, opportunities begin to open, and people begin to notice. Execution attracts attention because it carries energy. While others talk about what they'll do someday, executors are busy creating something today. The world doesn't remember those who almost started. They remember those who finished. Execution requires focus. You can't execute everything at once. You must commit to one vision, one strategy, one mission until it bears fruit. Every time you switch directions, you uproot your seed before it grows. Execution thrives in consistency. Keep showing up, keep improving, keep producing, even when nobody's watching. You can't reap from a seed you dig up every week. Trust the process long enough for it to pay you back. There's power in doing. Faith gives you courage, discipline gives you structure, but execution gives you evidence. You start to see what's possible, and that fuels even greater faith. Execution builds confidence through progress. Each small win becomes proof that you're capable of more. You'll never know your full potential until you execute on your ideas. The world doesn't change because of potential. It changes because of production. Don't fear mistakes. Mistakes are part of execution. You can fix what you start, but you can't fix what you don't begin. Every master was once a messy beginner. Perfection is not the goal, progress is. The faster you fail, the faster you learn. Every failure refines your focus and sharpens your skill. Discipline teaches you how to endure. Execution teaches you how to evolve. When you move, you gain wisdom that sitting still could never give you. Execution also multiplies what you have. The moment you act on what's in your hand, it increases. Remember the parable of the talents. Those who multiplied what they were given received more. The one who buried his gift lost it. The same law still applies. If you hide your idea, your gift, your calling, it dies in your possession. But if you execute, it grows, it multiplies, and it blesses others. Your wealth is waiting on your willingness to execute. To execute, stop saying someday. Stop waiting for a miracle that starts with your movement. You are the miracle in motion. When you execute, heaven aligns, doors open, and favor follows. Execution is the ultimate act of faith. It's saying, I believe enough to move. Faith starts it, discipline shapes it, and execution completes it. Every financial breakthrough, every transformation, every testimony begins with one decision to stop thinking and start doing. The fruit you desire is waiting on the action you've been delaying. God blesses movement, not laziness. You can't pray for progress while staying still. You can't expect God to open doors you haven't even walked toward. Too many people are waiting for a miracle when the miracle is waiting for them to move. God can't steer a parked car. If your life feels stuck, it's not because God has forgotten you. It's because you've stopped moving. You're sitting in neutral, waiting for a perfect moment that doesn't exist. Faith is motion. It's the courage to move even when you don't see the whole path, trusting that the next step will appear when you take it. Some of you have been praying for years, Lord, give me direction, and heaven is saying, I already did, you just haven't moved. The breath in your body is the sign. Waking up this morning means you still have purpose. It means God's not done with you. But purpose doesn't produce results until you act on it. Prayer is powerful, but prayer without movement is procrastination in disguise. You can't expect divine guidance while sitting on divine instructions. God won't bless what you refuse to build. Think about it. Every major miracle in the Bible required movement. When Moses stretched his hand, the sea parted. When Peter stepped out of the boat, he walked on water. When the lepers moved toward the priest, they were healed along the way. Their blessing didn't come before the movement. It came because of it. If they had stayed still, they would have stayed stuck. God honors those who move in faith. When you take one step, he takes 10. When you start, heaven responds. Movement attracts miracles. Action activates abundance. Some people confuse waiting on God with doing nothing. Waiting on God doesn't mean standing still. It means working with expectation. It means preparing as if the answer is already on the way. Noah didn't wait for rain to start building the ark. He built when it made no sense. He built when people laughed. He built because obedience doesn't need evidence. And when the storm came, the one who prepared in faith rose above the flood. That's the power of movement. You can't control when God sends the blessing, but you can control whether you're ready to receive it. If you want financial breakthrough, you have to move toward it. Start the business, write the plan, learn the skill, make the call, apply the knowledge. God can't multiply what you haven't planted. The Bible says faith without works is dead. That means faith without movement is powerless. You can believe all day long, but if your feet never follow your faith, you will stay stuck in the same place, praying the same prayer, seeing no change. God doesn't reward wishers, he rewards workers. He doesn't bless the idle, he blesses the active. Laziness is not rest, it's resistance. It's saying no to your own potential. Every time you postpone what God told you to do, you delay what he planned to give you. The enemy loves when you're busy but not productive, when you're active but not aligned. True movement isn't random hustle. It's purposeful obedience. It's not just doing something. It's doing the right thing at the right time for the right reason. That's when heaven partners with your effort. God won't do for you what he created you to do for yourself. He'll supply the strength, the strategy, and the supernatural favor, but you've got to bring the steps. If you've been standing still because of fear, remember this. Fear is just faith pointed in the wrong direction. You believe something will go wrong more than you believe God will make it right. But movement is proof of trust. Every time you move, you declare, God, I believe you'll meet me there. You don't need to see the whole staircase. Just take the next step. Faith is not waiting for the guarantee. It's moving on the instruction. And when you do, the right people, the right opportunities, the right doors begin to align. There's a reason momentum feels divine, because it is. When you move, you participate in creation. You become a co-laborer with God. He put potential inside you, but potential is useless without motion. The seed doesn't grow in the bag, it grows in the soil. Likewise, your gifts won't grow in your comfort zone. They grow in the field of action. The soil of success is movement. Every step, Every attempt, every act of obedience waters the seed. It may not sprout overnight, but it's working underground. Divine increase follows obedient action. You can pray for overflow, but you must prepare for it too. The harvest comes to the hands that work, not the mouths that wish. God is not looking for perfection. He's looking for participation. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to be faithful enough to move. Start where you are. Use what you have and trust that God will multiply it. He won't steer a parked car, but once you start rolling, he'll guide every turn. So today, stop waiting for a miracle. Become one. Stop waiting for motivation. Move until it finds you. You've got the idea, the ability, and the assignment. Now move. Take the step, make the call, write the vision, launch the plan. Because when you move, heaven moves with you. And that's when favor flows, doors open, and breakthrough becomes your new normal. Failure is just feedback. Every time you try and fall short, the universe isn't punishing you. It's preparing you. Every no, every closed door, every failed attempt carries a hidden message. Adjust, refine, and grow. Most people see failure as a finish line, but the wise see it as a signal. It's not the end of your story. It's an edit in your process. You don't lose when you fail. You lose when you quit. Because every time you step out in faith, even if the result isn't what you expected, something shifts in you, something strengthens within you, and something unseen begins to take root. When a seed is planted, it disappears underground. From the surface, it looks like nothing's happening, but beneath the soil, the roots are growing deep. The same is true for your dreams. You might not see progress right now, but that doesn't mean growth isn't taking place. The soil of failure is where champions are cultivated. Discipline keeps you showing up when the results don't show up. Faith keeps you believing when the numbers don't move. And execution, getting up and trying again, proves you truly believe what you say you believe. Every successful person has a trail of failed attempts behind them. They just learn to interpret those failures differently. Thomas Edison didn't fail 1,000 times to invent the light bulb. He discovered 1,000 ways it wouldn't work. That's not failure. That's data. Each attempt gave him feedback, insight, refinement. You must learn to do the same. Stop judging your progress by short-term outcomes. You are not behind. You're in process. You are not losing. You're learning. Every failure is shaping you into the person who can handle the level of success you've been praying for. The reason so many people never see their financial breakthrough is because they confuse delay with denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. Sometimes God withholds the fruit until your roots are ready to handle it. He knows what you can carry and what would crush you. So while you're frustrated by the weight, heaven is fortifying your character. It's teaching you how to remain disciplined when nobody's watching, how to stay faithful when results are invisible, and how to keep executing when motivation runs out. That's the preparation season, and failure is the training ground for it. When you look at failure through the right lens, it becomes a mentor. It teaches you humility, resilience, and perspective. It forces you to confront your weaknesses and sharpen your strengths. It burns away pride and builds endurance. Every time you fail, you gain clarity about what works and what doesn't. You learn how to adapt, how to listen, and how to pivot. That's why you can't despise the process. The lessons you learn in loss are often the very tools you'll need to manage success. Failure also reveals who's really serious. Talk is cheap until you face resistance. Everyone sounds confident until the first obstacle appears. But when you push through pain, disappointment, and rejection, that's when your faith becomes real. That's when you prove to yourself and to heaven that you're not here for convenience. You're here for calling. Discipline will have you waking up early to build again. Faith will whisper, keep going, it's still working. Execution will make you take another shot even when your hands are still shaking from the last miss. The truth is, failure doesn't disqualify you, it qualifies you. You can't build mastery without mistakes. You can't gain wisdom without wrong turns. You can't lead with strength if you've never learned to stand after falling. Every great leader carries scars from battles they once thought would break them. But those same scars became their credentials. So don't hide from your failures. Harvest from them. Take what they taught you and apply it. Let them refine your focus and fuel your fire. Every setback is a setup in disguise. Sometimes what looks like rejection is redirection. The job that didn't work out, the deal that fell through, the partnership that dissolved, all of it is divine choreography. It's not falling apart, it's falling into place. But only if you keep moving forward. You can't allow fear of failure to freeze your future. You've got to trust that if you keep sowing, the harvest will come. It might not show up when you want it, but it will show up right on time. So the next time you fall, don't curse the ground. Thank it. because something is still growing underground. Your roots are getting stronger, your character is getting deeper, and your faith is getting tested and proven. The process might be slow, but slow growth is strong growth. And when the season shifts and the fruit finally appears, you'll realize it was all worth it, because failure didn't stop you, it shaped you. It didn't break you, it built you. And when you rise from it, you won't just have success, you'll have substance. You'll have the kind of strength that can sustain what you've been asking for. Multiplication is not magic, it's mastery. It's what happens when your faith, your discipline, and your execution move in rhythm. When those three align, the universe has no choice but to respond. Heaven recognizes order. God is not a God of chaos. He blesses structure, he blesses strategy, and he blesses stewardship. Many people pray for multiplication but live out of alignment. They have faith but no follow through. They dream big but do small. They shout about increase but never structure their life to receive it. Multiplication doesn't respond to emotion. It responds to alignment. When faith, discipline, and execution meet, something supernatural happens. It's like planting a seed in the right soil at the right season with the right care. Faith is the seed, discipline is the soil, and execution is the watering. Without all three, growth can't happen. Some people plant seeds but never water them. That's faith without execution. Others water weeds instead of seeds. That's execution without discipline. But when you align your belief, your habits, and your actions, heaven starts multiplying what's in your hand. That's divine mathematics. Multiplication is not about addition, it's about acceleration. It's when one obedient step opens 10 new doors. You find yourself walking into rooms you never applied for, receiving opportunities you didn't chase. That's what happens when you live in alignment with divine principles. It's not luck, it's law. The law of multiplication says that whatever you steward faithfully will expand. Faith positions you for what's possible. Discipline proves you're ready. Execution produces evidence that you trust the process. Together, they attract divine increase. When you live in alignment, your life becomes magnetic. You stop striving and start attracting. Things begin to flow instead of forcing. You stop begging for open doors because your consistency becomes the key that unlocks them. That's why the people who seem lucky are usually the ones who've been quietly aligning their habits with their vision for years. They stayed faithful when nobody was watching. They kept sowing when it didn't make sense. They kept building when others quit. Alignment always produces acceleration, but it doesn't happen overnight. It happens over time. The power of alignment is that it multiplies everything it touches. If you align your thoughts with truth, your words with purpose, and your actions with principle, you become unstoppable. But if you're out of order, believing one thing, saying another, and doing the opposite, you block your own blessing. You can't pray for multiplication while practicing division in your daily life. You can't expect God to increase what you refuse to manage. Multiplication flows through order, and order flows through obedience. Look at the greats. The people who turned ideas into empires. They didn't just believe, they built. They didn't just plan, they performed. They understood that faith is spiritual, but execution is practical. They didn't wait for perfect timing. They created it through consistency. And when their faith, discipline, and execution aligned, doors began to open faster than they could knock. That's the reward of alignment. You stop chasing opportunity, and opportunity starts chasing you. When you're aligned, your steps are guided. You don't waste time in confusion or chaos. You move with clarity because your inner world and outer world are saying the same thing. Your heart believes it, your habits prove it, and your actions manifest it. That's how miracles are made, not through wishing, but through working in rhythm with divine order. You become a vessel that heaven can trust with more because you've shown that you can multiply what you've been given. Multiplication is not the reward of luck, it's the result of stewardship. It's the outcome of doing small things faithfully until they grow into great things. It's the moment when your unseen preparation meets your visible promotion. When you align your life with purpose and principle, you don't have to force blessings. They find you. You'll look up one day and realize you're standing in the very place you once prayed for. That's the beauty of divine multiplication. It's not about working harder. It's about working wiser in order. Faith gives you vision. Discipline gives you structure. Execution gives you results. And alignment brings the increase. When these elements move together, they create a current that carries you forward faster than your own effort ever could. It's not striving, it's flowing. It's not chasing, it's becoming. So if you've been sowing and not seeing, believing and not receiving, check your alignment. Ask yourself, does my discipline match my declarations? Do my actions agree with my ambitions? Because when everything lines up, faith, discipline, execution, heaven recognizes it. And that's when doors open you never knocked on. Opportunities find you before you even search. And provision meets you right on the path of obedience. That's not coincidence. That's divine order. That's multiplication. When you align your belief with your behavior and your behavior with your breakthrough, you enter the flow of abundance. That's when increase becomes inevitable. That's when overflow becomes your new normal. Not because you begged for it, but because you built for it. You positioned yourself for it. You activated heaven's equation for increase, and multiplication became the natural reward of your alignment.